Using lessons learned from making my last awful game and the knowledge obtained from the Yorkshire tea drinking legend himself, Spiffing Brit, today I'm going to attempt to make $1 billion game. We are looking for max profits and microtransactions, so naturally we will call it NBA 3K40, which is not at all a play on words. And we'll make it a story game to start with flight paths, then we'll dump all points into advertising because games don't have to be good when you have fantastic cinematic trailers. For our humble beginning area, we'll make a nice strip of the essential shops, inns, towers, and spawn points, and of course place enemies in the distance. We'll place a singular flight path that leads players to the next region, and we'll protect our players with a copious amount of these Stonehenge-looking objects. I call it Stonierhenge. We spent about $35,000 on making the game, so it only makes sense to use about $37,000 on advertisements, which will start before even releasing the game. The game is now out, and players are coming in droves. To ensure no one can beat the game or even the first level anytime soon, let's crank up the base kills and quest leveling requirements. While they're busy taking down 1,100 enemies each, I'll quickly build out this next enemy level, and we'll add a wall of cacti and bamboo to keep the evil away. They're taking down these spiders really easy too, so we'll raise this and expand the spider region. It also now costs a reasonable $20 to respawn, a financially genius decision by me. However, this is scaring our players, as you can see by the large amount of people that are choosing to socialize instead of actually playing the game. Anyways, the game asks for more monsters and I will deliver. Here's a bear, chicken, ostrich hybrid animal with a floating top hat. If this isn't a monster, I don't know what is. Also, I like this default guy, but I think he could be much cooler. Blue jeans, black shirt, blonde hair, and the best sunglasses I can do. This is none other than the great Johnny Delta. And speaking of Johnnies, we need more of them. So here's Johnny Silverhand as an enemy, although in level 2 he will be a quest giver and Johnny Bravo will be the enemy. But more on that in a second. We are currently at 5,000 subscribers for our free-to-play game that charges $32 monthly. With this structure, we won't make money for another month, so the dev and design team will now take a break until we make money. The dev and design team is now back with $80,000, 7,400 subscribers, and connection issues. We'll throw down a server right there, and let's circle back to Johnny Silverhand to add in some quests. Brutalize the Johnny Deltas isn't bad, but I prefer this. Additionally, the emotional final quest will be, did you really think we were done? NBA 3K40 is shaping up to be the game of the year. However, we need more enemy varieties that our players will likely never encounter, but will motivate them to keep renewing each month in the hope that they may eventually see one. You know, this next guy from wiping out half of Earth and taking out all the favorite childhood characters, it's the man, it's the myth, it's Blanos. And this wouldn't be a proper unbeatable game without a Dark Souls reference, so next up, hang on, we're having some connection issues. And while we're building, I guess we'll make this third region real quick. Alright, perfection. As I was saying, up next we have the perpetually depressed Wide Wonder, the Onion Knight. I don't have many body choices in the wide boy department, so he'll just have to be a bit oblong. And maybe a sombrero will cheer him up. Back to the making of the money, we are adding more shops to the starting area, and we are making every axe cost $20. I'm also going to increase the spawn cost from $20 to $30 due to wacky market inflation. The third level is going to have the Onion Knight ordering a kill order on Blanos with inaccurate, mildly cringe yet fitting names such as Reduce Him to Atoms and Destiny Always Arrives. With that, we now have 10,000 subscribers and our game is taking over the hearts and mind of players worldwide. Speaking of which, I should probably add in some more actual player characters. Unfortunately, I found out about these sliders, so this is not going to be a cool or good looking character. Instead, he'll have an offset floating head and an even more offset and floating hat, and he will be aptly named Where's My Head. Now that I know I can make large hats, I'm going to make a knockoff of the knockoff Darth Vader from the Academy Award winning film Spaceballs. He'll be known as Darker Helmet, and he'll be slower than the offspring of a turtle and a sloth. Back to making the player characters, they deserve a real hero, someone honorable, someone with integrity. This is why they will get a Lidl brand Omni-Man, who's as close as I could make him look with the tools that I have. As an update, we now have $341,000 and 8,000 subscribers. I'm changing the pricing from free to $5 upfront and from $32 to $23 recurring to appeal to a broader market. I'll even be lowering the price of spawning to $15. To get our growth back on track, I'm going to power level my game version by spamming scenery objects and dumping points into advertising. And might as well make another level as long as I'm spamming objects. Here's a street line with lots of lights, plenty of real money inns and shops, with windmills in the distance to block their field of view of the hollow world that lurks beyond. Then it ends with an observation tower that will almost completely get blocked by these large orange pillars. We'll table this for a moment while we expand our level 1 region with more quests, more spiders to force people to stop talking and start spending, and I'm not sure if there's a shortage of Wi-Fi here, so I'll throw down an obscene number of capacitors, uplinks, and connection lines. We have a lot more people reaching level 2 after expanding, but even at $100, no one is willing to use these flight paths. Let's make sure these are working by making these free for a moment. Whoa, no more free rides. We lost like $700 there. I nearly just fainted. So they are working. Our people are just way too price conscious. Surely people who pay nothing at all for the game will be much much looser with their wallets. While we wait for the results on that, our new player character is Stevie, by the way. And I'm getting sick of all these connection warnings, so let's throw down a bunch of servers in this region to prevent this. Time to build out the 5th region as well. Lots of prop buildings, lots of shops, and lots of our new enemies, the Panda Bandits, which are simply called Wanted for Murder. Our Cowboy Ostrich Sheriff Mutant, named just one of the boys, will be in charge of giving out all the quests, such as I assure you they are quite nice. Really, they are kind people, and trust me, you have nothing to worry about. Returning to the starting area, we have far too many players in Zone 1. The enemy AI is so low, in fact, that when I expand the territory, they all attack the AI that spawns from the magic pointer as soon as they appear. After further expanding the network and starting more advertising, we are nearly bankrupt. To remedy this issue, our completely free game will now cost $1,500 per month. And just like that, we are cash flow positive. Let's lower this back down to $100 per month and increase the purchase price from $0 to $110. We're going to add a mountain path here as well to allow more players to leave level 1 and further progress their addiction to the game. We've created another character that was brought back from the dead, known as Digby Reincarnated. He has max stats and he levitates because he is a higher form of being. I'm going to power level my advertisement a little more as well by creating art. I don't have anything in mind, I'm just going to let the brush guide my hand. Wow, would you look at that? Not at all what I was expecting. This is what streamers that play our game get to experience during their time online. He spent 6 hours running around like this, never seeing an enemy, and after finally encountering one, he logged off. But look at that, he had a great time. We now have $1.4 million. I turned our attempt to beg people to like the video into a level of our game, and I productively power leveled the advertising by making a 5th level with 500 cannons pointing at these weird spider enemies that I made. The price of our game is now $60 with a $350 recurring. The network strain at the level 1 area destroys my frames and my eyes. We now have $9 million in the bank. To further extend the cash grab that is this game, I will be building a flight path from level 1 to this distant land. Then we are going to add 2 large monster zones over here and remove the ones on the mainland. Of course, then changing all the quests to require players to go to this distant land, which you can reach for a cost. Players are swarming, but no one can really afford $100, so let's lower this down to $10. There we go. Look at the stream of players fiending for content. The game is running quite terribly though. Any attempt to move is met with tremendous lag, and when I change it to $50, it still lags because of how many people want to fly but can't afford it. Even if this is killing my frames and probably my computer, it really does look cool from this angle. Alright, as much as I love all this, I can't have this much lag on triple speed. I'm removing all the flight paths, and if you are currently on the distant land, you have 2 choices. Option A is you can use this 0 gold flight path that leads you into an angry horde of elite Gabe Nools and his Noolings to be permanently relegated to an existence of constantly dying and respawning for $10 each time, never finding an escape. Islay here thought he had the workaround, the better free path, but instead he met the unstoppable hand of the Nool Empire. Option B is you can pay $1,000 of your hard-earned real money to return home through a network of flight paths, but don't worry, it's only one charge of $1,000 up front. I thought I was being clever with that, but as it turns out, with all those missions in level 1 still active, all of these players are now running from level 1 to level 7 and reverse engineering my flight paths to complete their quests. I have no choice but to scrap all of that completely and strand the last few people on that land forever. On a positive note, we are up to $22 million now, and I've made many more abominations that we call levels, with several new additions to the enemy roster such as Zips Brannigan, Mr. Pewter Schmitz, The Long Cattle, Doug Demisphere, Doom Dude, Peter Gryffindor, Evil Big Boy, Dwarven Gold Cowboy, and Shreks. I've also added about 30 to 40 more inns to the beaches of the starting area due to the booming real estate scene that is currently maxed out. There's now a relaxing area to chill between both enemy spawn zones, and I've carefully placed about 8 blacksmiths in the middle of these enemy spawn zones as an aggressive marketing campaign. The board has decided that our game has too much content, and since no one actually ever makes it past level 3, everyone working on the game is being put on leave effective immediately. After a 16-month break that would have been longer had my game not crashed, we are back and better than ever with $162 million after leaving all of our players on a $1,000 monthly renewal. I made this large gator-looking structure out of catapults, and our advertising is up to an impressive plus 180%. I reorganized the starting area to be much more orderly, and 2 people have even made it all the way to level 5. After another 10-month break, we have made it past $300 million, which if we were a mobile game would plant us firmly above Black Desert Online and a smidgen under Angry Birds 2. As I watched the money come in, I discovered that I can explode the minds of my players and prevent them from doing anything by manually leveling them up, which is a neat trick. We may not have reached 1 billion, but theoretically, if my game would stop crashing in about 3 to 4 days' time, we could reach that goal. If you enjoyed the video, consider checking out one of these. And as always, thanks for watching.